Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to obtain a great planetary image with a relatively inexpensive telescope. So, Jupiter, Saturn, those were my images from last year. I think we can do way better now. So I'm going to cover all the stuff I've learned from last year and see what images I can come up with. Let's get to it. So there are 5 main components that go into a good planetary image. The first important part is that you need a good telescope. And you need an altazimuth mount, so one of these things right here. And you also might not need computerization because you can just track it manually, but I prefer a computerized mount because it keeps the planet in frame with my camera. You also need a large aperture, and a large aperture lets you let more light in so that you can use higher magnifications without giving up on image quality, and this comes up in a second here where you need a long focal length. Now the telescope that I have has a focal length of 1500 millimeters, which is decent for planetary, but we want more magnification. Which leads to our second thing on the list, telescope accessory, such as this Barlow lens. Barlow lenses increase the effective focal length or magnifications of your telescope. So this is a 2 times Barlow lens, so adding it to my 1500 millimeter scope will give me a 3000 millimeter focal length. Number 3 on this list is our camera. It is very convenient and nice if you can get a camera that not only has live view, but also video recording of your target. So I bought a Nikon D3500 last year, which is recording right now, and it can also record video, obviously. The way we can acquire our frames for planets is that we actually take a video where we want as many frames as possible, and we want to pick a certain amount of frames that are good with the least amount of atmospheric distortion, which is also called lucky imaging. And that brings us to our number 4 on our list, shooting conditions. So you want a cold but still night, and the cold is good for reducing the noise in your images. Right now it is about 75 degrees in San Diego, which is not too bad. If it's really windy, your telescope is going to be swinging and shaking around and getting blown, especially if your telescope is lightweight. Also, you're going to want a calm night, which helps in lowering atmospheric distortions. This is the same for all astrophotography. You need a calm night. Light pollution isn't an issue for planetary because the planets are so small and bright. This brings us to number 5, software and processing the final image. There are many different types of software that people use, but for me, I use Linkios and Registax. AutoStacker is also a good software for Windows users. I'll show you guys how to use these softwares in just a little bit, but for now, time to image. So now that we have leveled our tripod and attached the DSLR to it, we want to align this telescope so that it knows where it is. So I'll show you that process right now. All right. So I got this controller here, and right now we're gonna have to press enter. We want to do solar system align right here, and then we're gonna put in the time, so now that I've inputted the time, we're gonna select daylight savings because it's November. Click enter. It's currently November 12th, 2021. Enter. We're gonna do Jupiter because it's the highest up in the sky right now, so we click enter, and then we try to line Jupiter. So we will turn our scope like that. It's probably gonna take a while, so I'll fast forward this video. So now we're gonna turn on this finder scope right here. You probably can't see, it's on the telescope. We're gonna aim the red dot, which is right there, to Jupiter. Zoom that in. That red dot to Jupiter. And Jupiter's up there. Now that it's aligned, we're gonna click align right here. Align. Enter. Align. Alright, it's gonna say align success, and that means you've aligned your telescope. And now you can click let's see, solar system. You can find Jupiter on there. Click enter, and it's gonna automatically find Jupiter. And then right now we can go to our live view on our telescope. Got to set that back to manual. Not manual. Now you don't see Jupiter on there because the alignment sometimes doesn't, it's not too accurate. So now we have to find Jupiter back on our finder scope right here and try to align it from there. So I've gotten about 200 pictures of Jupiter, so I think I'm good now. And I also took some pictures of the moon too. Pretty cool. See the craters. That's cool. So I'm only going to be able to image Jupiter today because Saturn is getting a little bit low in the horizon, so I don't think I can image that without bad atmospheric distortions. Alright, so after some researching, I found a setting on my camera which can actually record video in a darker video. So I actually took in a video of Jupiter perfectly exposed right here, a 2-minute video, and I'm gonna put it in pip here, and basically pip just aligns the planet in the middle of the frame and turns it into an AVI file for auto stacker, so auto stacker can stack it easier later on. You click on Planetary and pip, you click on do processing, and you click start processing. And normally this is pretty quick, but I'm gonna pause it and return later on. So after a few minutes, it should give you this message once it's done. It should say complete. So now we can X out of this and open up Auto Stacker. It should open up 2 frames here. And you drag the AVI file into Auto Stacker, and it should be perfectly centered, which is pretty dark right now, but should be pretty centered in this live view here. These default settings should be pretty good. But so you click analyze, and it should analyze this AVI file, and I'll come back later on. Okay, so once it has been analyzed, it should give you this quality graph here, and this line is basically the quality of each frame, and this gray part here is the average of all the frames. If there's like windy parts here, so in the front should be the best quality, and then the back should be the lowest quality. And then you want to click double stack reference, specify how many frames you want. So let's say I want 25% of the best frames, and then you don't want to click RGB align. You want 1.5x drizzle, the more the better, but my computer can't handle too much. Okay, so then you go over to this screen here, and then you want a low AP size, and you generally want a low minimum brightness, and then you click place AP grid, and you want a large amount of grids here so that it can have a better reference to stack. And once that's done, you can click stack, and it should go through all these processes and should come out with the final result later. Okay, so now since auto stacker has completed, should have given you an image here, and now you want to go to Registacks here and drag that image over. You want to stretch intensity levels. So there, you got one of these Jupiter pictures here. And then I normally only mess with 1, 5, and 6, but the other controls are also good. So you can just sharpen the image a little with these sliders here. And then you want to click on histogram, and then you want to click on RGB balance. And since these colors are not very balanced here, like there could be like the channels could be stronger in one level, so you click auto balance, and it like evenly distributes these color channels. You can X that out after it's done, and then you can just slowly play around with these sliders here to get your final result. And then you click do all, and then save image, and then you can just save it. And there you go. This is your final image here. And you can put it into other softwares to get it even better, but this should be your final result. So after some messing around and trying to get it into its original position in the sky, this is my final completed image. So thank you guys for watching, and see you later.